Private pilot written exam questions about CFRs, or 14 CFR Part 1. So this is about 20 questions. Yeah, so question 1, ATC clearance provides priority over all traffic? No, because every airplane has traffic authorities, or not like traffic patterns, or you get that, like they're expected, they have like ATC clearance. But if every plane has ATC clearance, it really doesn't matter. But unless your plane is like a glider, or it has like less torque abilities, or like your airplane isn't able to move or like turn that much, but that really doesn't really isn't really like part of what the question is asking. So I don't think it'll be A. So to oversee adequate separation of all traffic. I mean, all right, but see what B says. B says authorization to proceed under specified traffic conditions in controlled airspace. I think this is the right one. It fits that question the best. VNO is the maximum speed for your airplane that can withhold structural damage. So it is kind of A, but that's VNE, and C is VA. So I would say B. Yeah, so maximum structural, because in VA this is VA. I guess I really said, but this is VNE. Which V speeds represents flap extended speed? So there's a maximum speed operations for your flaps that could be extended. So remember FE, that's what we're asking. So VFE, the answer would be C. May a pilot operate an aircraft that is not in compliance with an AD? So can an airplane fly and when it's not in compliance with an AD? No, but I guess under like certain conditions, but the best answer would be A or C. I it's definitely not B because they're mandatory of a regulation. So A if allowed by the AD, or C, yes, ADs are voluntary. No, ADs are not voluntary, so the best answer would be A. With respect of certification of airmen, oh, this is a hard one. This is the most tricky for one. There's like 4 of these questions. So with respect of certification of an airman, what is a class of an aircraft? So what is a class of an aircraft to a pilot? To a pilot, what is a class of an aircraft? I don't think it would be B. It's definitely not B because these are just like, it's either A or C. I guess A because these are like classes, and I think C is the categories. Yep, these are the categories. So you kind of really want to like look at it as like two tables of classes and categories. That's how I do those questions. So which will provide the greatest gain in altitude within the shortest distance while takeoff and climb? So we will use VA, VX, VY, whatever it is. So this would occur when we need to climb up when there is terrain or whatever, but you know what I mean. So we need to make the maximum angle of climb in the shortest amount of time period, and that is Vx. With respect to airmen, what is a category of an aircraft? So I just answered this question, so it is not B because that's class. I think this is for a airplane, but my guess would be C. This is I think, let me guess, category or class? I think this class. Yep, these are classes, not categories. How long does an airworthiness certificate to a plane remain valid? So they would remain valid as long as they're maintained, regulated, or it's normally being inspected for certain periods, and it is within the airworthiness certificate. I guess the best answer would be describes the best answer correct. Question correct. VSO is the stall speed for the landing configuration out. So that's what this question is about. So VSO, stall speed with the O means the out configuration with the landing speed. So the answer would be C. Nighttime is what? Nighttime is the difference between civil twilight and morning of civil twilight. Whatever that means, but I just remember this question. I don't know why that there's 3 definitions of this, but it's really weird. I guess that's FAA. What is it? Preventive maintenance, and what paperwork is required? So preventative maintenance is basically like changing your oil of your aircraft, changing your tire pressure, increasing your tire pressure, like changing your tires, changing your bearings, changing the hydraulic fuel. Like that is preventive maintenance. Like it's like quick fixes to your cars. Same thing to your car. But just instead of that, it's just to an airplane. So what paperwork is required? This is going to be a little tricky one, but let's review. So a fully detailed description. The work must be done entered in the airframe logbook. Okay, but that I don't think that's right because it needs like who did the work and what date it was performed in. Signature of signature of the guy, certificate number, and the kind of certificate in the word. Okay, that's a good answer. Or C, the day of the work was completed and the name who presented the answer. This is literally a free for all. I would, if I was taking the written exam, bro, I would just flip a coin and see what I get, B or C. But this is definitely a tricky one. I guess A. I mean, I will C. Yeah, I mean, guess it's one of the most information. But is it legal to fly on the dealer's registration after a purchase airplane from that dealer? Yes. The airplane can be flown within the buyer of 3 days. No, the airplane cannot be flown with the buyer and it has to be registered. Yes, can be flown with a buyer for 120 days. It cannot fly until it has to be registered and so when you buy an aircraft, so ARC is basically like, yeah, you can buy this aircraft and we'll give you 30-day free trial or 100-day free trial. That's how I memorize this, but no, you cannot fly an aircraft, but cannot fly your own aircraft that isn't registered towards you. So the best answer would be B. What should a owner of operator know about airworthiness certificates? That ADs are mandatory. Answer would be B. With respect of certification of an aircraft, what is a class of an aircraft? It's not definitely not B. It's A or C. If I can recall, I guess C. I think the A is categories, and then within the categories is what type. C. Yeah, I remember this. This is very tricky. Like the classes and the categories of those airmen and aircraft is which is the broader question, which question is more detailed. So the more broader question is A, and we know the broader question is categories because it's not fully specified of what kind of aircraft is normal, what kind of aircraft is utility. It just says the categories of what of the aircraft, and C is the more detailed, so that means this is a class. So what certification do you need? Who may perform preventive maintenance of an aircraft and approved it for return of service? A. None. Answers are correct. No, it's not this. because you can do it with a private pilot. B, students or recreational pilot? No, because I don't really know what a student is. Is it a student private pilot, instrument pilot, commercial pilot, whatever? Recreational pilot, again, that's not a certificate. The best answer would be C. Which operation would be described as preventive maintenance? If you rewind back, I just explained this. Answer would be A. Oh, this is a hard question. Which operation allows a private pilot to perform preventive maintenance? I don't know. It's A or B or C, as I know, but I'm gonna go. Yeah. This is, I don't know. I don't know like the topics of the number of like each specified like a unit or lesson, because this is too much, to be honest. Which v-speeds represents the landing configuration extended? So remember, the maximum speed for the landing gear extended, so LE. That's what we're looking for. LO is not it. That's LO is the landing gear out speed. This is the landing gear extended. This is flap extended. This. What is A? This is, I think, like the maximum speed you can do it. And then this is just your stall speed. What documentation is required when performing preventive maintenance? Private pilot. Oh, like, okay, what does, okay. Perform, no, every maintenance needs to be documented, so it's not A. B. Yeah, A and C they're kind of like, yeah, I mean, you don't really need it, but every maintenance you do need a history of, especially if it's like small. Even if you're filling up your tire pressure, you would need to record it. So which operation would be described as a preventive maintenance? Yeah. Just answered that a couple minutes ago. So after takeoff, which speed would the pilot gain for most altitude, given the most period of climb? So it's not saying short amount of period of time. This is during a long period of time. So we would use this during takeoffs. It's not Vx because that's the shortest. Va, I think that's just the normal speed, but it's Vy. Normal is the airspeed moving. Yeah. Which V speeds represent maneuvering speed? Va. These two are stalling speeds with your never exceeding landing gear out. With certification of an aircraft, what is a category of an aircraft? So remember, there's two. I remember this as two tables. I remember this of one big table or whatever, one big, I'd say, square. I don't even know what I'm saying, but there's a broader question. The broader question is category, and the more detailed question is a class. So which is the most detailed. So it's definitely not A. That really doesn't really answer that question. So it's B or C. So remember, this is the most detailed. This is the more broader question. We're looking for the broader. So category is broader. So it would be C.